What's up, guys? Welcome back for another Lightroom tutorial. Today we're going to be going over how I edit my portraits in child photography. Today I have some pictures of my son I took the other day while I was vlogging. And yeah, we're going to go over just how I do things. Alright, let's go on to the computer here. So I already have Lightroom opened up. I created a catalog with my photos in here. So yeah, we're gonna come in here and first things first, I like to have these selected over here in the top corner. That helps show you if things are blown out. See, everything turns red that's blown out. Put that back. And blue if it's too dark. Okay, means there's no detail. Alright, so put those back. Alright, so let's get started. I believe this image is a little underexposed, so I'm gonna bring that exposure up slightly. We're gonna skip the contrast. I really don't like touching that. I'd rather adjust the contrast with my highlights, shadows, whites, and blacks. So we got highlights. Let's turn those down, get some color back in the sky up here. Shadows, we're gonna make those a little darker, not too much. Whites, bring those up. And then notice, like I said, some things are a little blown out here. It's not an issue. I just want to make sure I had some decent color in the sky here. That's not our main focus. This is really what's important here. So then we're going to go into the blacks, and I'm going to make those darker. And the reason I don't mind if they're really black is because you'll see later when I get to the curve adjustment that kind of goes away. I'll get rid of all of this and this actually. But yeah, so let's come down here. We got clarity. Now clarity, I've seen a lot. People like to add a lot of clarity, and if you notice, obviously I'm going to the extreme, but it doesn't look nice on skin. It just really ruins the skin. I mean, if that's the look you're going for, that's fine. Just not for me. So I like to actually bring the clarity down slightly, kind of soften the image up a little bit, and I think negative 15 looks good there. Okay, now the vibrance and saturation. There is a difference. A lot of people get confused on this. Vibrance, I can crank this up, and it really doesn't affect my skin tones too much. Here, I'll crank it all the way to 100 to the extreme. See how it doesn't, I mean, obviously it's extreme, so it's starting to affect a little bit, but if I go back, reset that. Now look at the difference between with the saturation. So much more, it looks way worse with the saturation. So I actually like to bring my saturation down slightly, right around, we'll say 15 looks good. Okay, then I bring the vibrance back up slightly. I'm gonna right about 57. That looks good. Alright, so that's good for our basic adjustments. Now we're going to come in here and we're going to do the tone curve, okay? So right away I like to come in and I like to put 5 points. Okay, and then, alright, so if you don't know much about a tone curve, basically you have your blacks, your shadows, your midtones, highlights, and whites up here. Okay, so I like to adjust my blacks and I bring them up, and what you get is like a faded look right in your blacks here. So you get like a nice, anywhere there's dark areas in your image, you'll get that faded. See how that blue went away? Here, I'll show you. See, the blue is here, it's real dark, and we turn that up a bit and it goes away. So I don't want to go too crazy. Like I said, it's a faded look. It's kind of my thing. I enjoy it. It's not for everybody. If you don't want to do that, feel free to not do it. And then also I like to bring my whites down, so kind of grays them out, which is a nice thing. If you had like a blown out sky that was pretty much pure white, the reason I like to turn it down is because like I said, it grays it out almost. And if you are sharing your photos on different social media, such as Lightroom, for example, they have a white background, and you want to be able to tell the difference. So that's also why I have this set as a white background here. If you want to change that, I think default's gray, like a medium gray. So all you got to do, like I said, you right click it, you come down here and you just select white or whatever other color you want. Like I said, I like white because I share a lot of my stuff on Instagram, and we don't want to get confused where the image stops and the background starts. So anyway, let's hop back into this. Now we're going to come down to the HSL, which is hue, saturation, and luminance. And we're going to go start with the hue. Click if it wants to click. There we go. We're going to change a couple different things in here. If you come over here to this little circle thing, I don't know what it's called. It's basically a selector. If you click that, you can go select any color you want. And like, for instance, there's blue, there's yellow, it's selecting greens, so on and so forth. So I'm going to grab this green, and we're going to change the color here. Now see how I can change it real orange and it almost looks like fall. Or we can go real green and it looks kind of ridiculous. But we're going to go a little down a little bit. We're just going to kind of yellow, like orange-ish yellow it out, if that makes sense. And then we're going to come over here to the blues in the sky. I like that teal sky. So we're going to come down here and just adjust this slightly so it's a little more teal. Okay, I'm liking how that looks. Let's come over here to saturation. We're going to go into the skin here, and we're going to try to see up here is a little orange. I took this photo during the golden hour, and yeah, so I just want to turn that up, just kind of accentuate that a bit. Okay, so then after that we got that, then we can go into luminance. I'm not going to do it in this one, but what you can do actually, it helps if you want to brighten your subject. If you click on your subject, like some part of their skin tone, if you brighten that up, see how it makes that brighter on? Actually, I do kind of like that a little more. We're going to actually do that. We're going to make that brighter and go into the oranges too and brighten them. It kind of makes our subject pop a little more, stand out from everything else. So yeah, we raised the luminance a bit, and I'm thinking that looks pretty good for now. Actually, see, I'm getting some weird banding here. I gotta figure out what did that, because I didn't notice that at first. Okay, yeah, that was my luminance. So we're gonna turn that down, back down a bit. Alright, there we go. Excuse me. Alright, so then we're gonna come down here. We're gonna skip split toning for now, and we're gonna go into sharpening. Okay, everyone worries about sharpening. Like if you go crazy, it actually didn't affect this photo too much, but if you zoom in, see how it's real noisy? And the more you pull it back, the less noise you get. So we're gonna go up to maybe about 60, and then if you hold Alt option on a Mac, I believe, and then you can pull this over, hold that in, and you can see where it's adding the sharpening to. So what I want is just, we're gonna pretty much turn this mask up almost all the way, so we just get some nice sharpening around these edges here. All right, luminance, noise reduction, we're not gonna touch that. I normally don't. And then we're gonna come in here, we're gonna see what these do. The lens corrections, I like to play with it. I always like to remove chromatic aberrations, and sometimes I hit the yeah, I don't love it. We're gonna keep it how it is. We're not gonna enable the profile corrections. Then I like to come down here, we're at a slight vignette, not a lot, like -9. Don't go crazy. I see this all the time. People go like this, and it looks very processed, and I just like to add a little bit just to pull focus towards the subject. Okay, So that looks good at a -8. Also, another stylistic thing that I enjoy doing, that I enjoy in my photos, should I say, I like to add a little bit of grain, not a lot, like maybe 13, anywhere from 10 to 15 I try to stay in. I think 13 looks good. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so then we're gonna come back up here and go back to the split toning. Okay, I like to split tone. You don't have to, like if you like the colors of your photo already. I just enjoy it. We're gonna do the highlights. We're gonna do like an orange, because if you notice here, this is all a highlight right here. These are all highlights. Now obviously this is the extreme. I like to pick my colors at the top and then come down here to this slider, and then you pull it down and you see where you like it. Like I like that at about 24. I think that looks good. Close this, click the shadows, and we're gonna go for, like I said, I enjoy that teal color. And then we're gonna go back down to this slider, turn that down. We're gonna go this a lot with this a lot less, maybe 10. And yeah, I think that's good. Now, if you want to see how that affects your image, there's this little toggle switch up here. So you see split tone, there's a little toggle switch right here. If you click that, it turns it off and on. So you can see there's a slight difference. Don't go crazy. I see it too much. People go crazy and you can really tell it's a processed image. This just looks slightly enhanced. It looks a little bit better. Okay, so yeah, so I think that's good for this photo. That's basically how I do this. Now we're gonna go over here to the next photo. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy this so I don't have to go over this whole thing again with you. I don't know why I click that. Okay, so and then we're gonna come over here to paste. I like this picture. He's a little upset. I think it's cute, but it shows a lot of emotion here. So then we're gonna go in here. Let me just adjust this stuff. We're gonna bring that exposure up, maybe a little higher on the highlights, shadows down. All right. All right, just give it a nice little contrast. I think that looks good. I think actually there's a little bit too much red in here. So we're gonna come to saturation. I think his skin looks very red, and I don't like that. No, let's click this little thing here. This is what I don't like. So we're gonna turn this down. I'm gonna go to hue. Change this all up a little bit. Yeah, see, see how it's going down into the magenta? I don't like that. So it might be a white balance issue, so we'll adjust that. There we go. Add it a little, make it a little warmer. Maybe, no, that's too green. There we go. So yeah, I think that image looks good. Once again, it's just real quick. After you decide what you like and kind of figure it out, like I said, you can go from one image to the next and hit the copy and paste it on the next one. All right, so we're gonna go to this next photo. It's a little nicer. Obviously, I have a real blown out sky right here. Let me paste those settings that I copied earlier. Okay, so I really like the exposure here, so we're not gonna touch that. We're gonna come in, turn the highlights down maybe a bit. Now see how it's gray up here, and you can tell the line. That's exactly what I was talking about earlier. It's very nice. It separates from the background. It's not too much. It works out. So we're gonna add some shadows and make those a little. We're just adding some contrast, basically. All right. I think that looks good. Yeah, everything looks good there. Okay, guys, we're gonna do a little something different in this photo. We're gonna go in here. We're gonna make some little adjustments to certain areas, like they're called local adjustments. So we're gonna go in here, we're gonna hit this little circle guy right here, click that. Okay, and I'm just, what the heck did I just do? All right, click that, and then I'm gonna just click and drag. I'm gonna exaggerate this sun over here. Now notice I have these, so let me put these back. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna first invert the mask, and then we're gonna I'm gonna make it a lot warmer. See how you get that nice gold? Because like I said, this was during golden hour, so I'm gonna get that nice gold color in there. And actually, I'm gonna slide this over. So see, I make it touch his face a little bit, so it kind of makes him glow. All right, so I think that looks good. Maybe turn down the highlights a bit. Nah. Yeah. So just another real basic thing here. Maybe increase the saturation on it a bit. Make it real, not too much. We're not going to go too extreme. All right, so maybe 14. Okay. So yeah, I think I like that. I like how that looks. All right, so you click done. All right, now you check your image, and I'm noticing that I am getting another, like I said before, some more red in here. So I'm gonna switch this. Maybe I should warm it up slightly. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot better. I like that. All right, so then this is a good shot. You can see his eyes really well in this. So I'm going to come in here, go back to this tool. Okay, let me readjust these. All right, now we're going to zoom in here. Whoop. Hold space. If you hold the space bar, it'll give you this little hand here. And then you can just click and drag to wherever you need to after you zoom in. All right. Jeez, I can't get it right where I want it. Whatever. This is good enough. All right, so then we're going to click and drag. Just make a little small selection. You can always adjust it. All right. Then we're going to rotate this. We're going to fit this to his eye. Okay. Click on this one. Put that on his eye. Okay. Right. So, all right. So we're gonna go in here and we're gonna do some adjustments. Don't forget to invert your mask. All right. So we're gonna go do some adjustments. We're gonna add a little. Don't go too much because you can really tell, and it'll really ruin your image if you go too much. Like if you go extreme. Now if I zoom out, if I can deselect this here. See how it looks a little crazy there? So yeah, like I said, you don't want to go too crazy on it. Just slight adjustments help. All right. So there's that. We're gonna add some contrast to his eye. Bring the highlights up. Oh, look, you can see me taking the photo of him right here. It's pretty sweet. Maybe the whites. No, that's, like I said, subtle adjustments here. All right, and then I'm going to saturate it slightly just to bring out that blue. Okay, and then we're going to add a little bit of sharpness. Not too much because you'll just introduce noise. Now clarity, this is where I will bump up the clarity a little bit. Okay. Let's see how that looks. Oh, I want to deselect it. All right. Actually, here, we're going to delete this one. Delete. Then we're going going to come in here because I like how that adjustment is. And we're going to, where's that? Duplicate. Alright, then you just grab that, pull that where you need it, make your adjustments where it's needed. Alright, and then I'll zoom out here. Alright, let's see how it looks. Alright, so I think I like that. So that looks good. So that's how you use your local adjustments to enhance certain aspects of your photo. And yeah, so I think all in all, that's a great image there. I really enjoy it. We're going to hit done here. And there's my son. He seems like he enjoys it. So yeah, I think we're good to go. Alright guys, we're going to finish up there, and I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it helped you a lot. If it did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Also, make sure you subscribe for more tutorials, and I also do vlogs. I post my tutorials every Saturday and Sunday, and I do vlogs Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So if you would like to see some of that, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification button, the little bell, and make sure you leave a comment below to if you have any ideas for tutorials that you'd like to see, like something for me to go over something. If you have any questions about this tutorial, make sure you also leave that in the comments. I'll do my best to answer and help you as we go. Until next time, guys, peace.